We all grow up hearing the same formula: study hard, get a good job, and earn promotions. Follow those rules and wealth should follow. But for millions of people, executing that formula creates a jarring reality. You wake up early, you put in the hours, you earn a higher salary, and yet you still feel completely stuck. Look at this diagram showing exactly what happens to a typical paycheck the moment it clears. Before you even touch the money, it instantly fractures. Taxes, rent, debt payments, and bills carve away heavy slices, leaving almost nothing in the center. People watch their capital drain away every 2 weeks and simply accept it as the normal cost of being an adult. When your primary tool for building wealth is a paycheck that arrives pre-fractured, simply working harder results in a slightly larger portion of a draining pool. The core misconception is that a higher salary automatically solves your financial problems. The true starting point of wealth is the literal, mathematical gap between what you earn and what you consume. If your baseline living expenses naturally rise to match every new dollar you bring in, building actual capital becomes a mathematical impossibility. Think about the immediate aftermath of a promotion. A higher salary triggers the search for a better apartment, a newer car, and upgrades to premium subscriptions. These lifestyle upgrades rarely feel like overspending. Because you put in the extra hours, the new spending feels earned. This specific phenomenon is known as lifestyle inflation. Humans adapt incredibly fast. The items that felt like genuine luxuries just months ago quickly blend into your baseline necessities. This side-by-side bar chart illustrates exactly how lifestyle inflation neutralizes a raise. As the income bar on the left grows taller, the expense bar on the right immediately stretches up to match its height. The gap between them stays strictly at zero. This constant calibration is the primary reason middle-class income growth vanishes long before it can ever be invested. That expense bar is usually dominated by housing. It is the largest, most inflexible monthly cost, and stretching your budget for a bigger home dictates the limits of every other financial decision. This creates households that are house-rich but cash-poor. An expensive physical environment masks a total lack of actual liquidity. Then you add the broader ecosystem of debt. Heavy student loans, maxed credit cards, and car payments stack directly on top of the housing cost. Look at this timeline of future paychecks. Debt has a hidden mechanism, spending income before it arrives. Heavy red blocks claim a massive percentage of your future labor immediately. And interest acts as a multiplier, steadily expanding those blocks and quietly consuming your future income. Sacrificing your future income destroys your financial flexibility. Without flexibility, you cannot capitalize on new wealth-building opportunities when they appear. Even if you manage your expenses, relying strictly on active income carries a fundamental flaw. The moment you stop physically working, the financial inflow completely stops. Trading time for money has an absolute finite limit. You only have 24 hours, and you can only run so fast for so long. While you are physically exhausting that time, tiny recurring charges are quietly draining your money through the subscription economy. Premium streaming services, mobile phone apps, and cloud software create continuous micro-leaks. Because the individual charges are so small, they easily disguise themselves as normal living expenses. On top of the subscriptions, there is the silent, systemic threat of inflation. This graph plots a standard, gently rising nominal salary against actual purchasing power, the real-world value of what those dollars can buy. As prices rise across the economy, your purchasing power drops, meaning your larger salary is actually buying you less. You hit the ceiling of your available time. Continuous micro-subscriptions quietly drain your daily liquidity, and inflation continuously erodes your remaining value. This explains exactly why the middle class feels completely exhausted, yet financially stagnant. Faced with that daily stagnation, immediate survival takes priority. Middle-class families consistently delay investing because they feel they need to secure their lifestyle first. Look at this area chart comparing two incomes over 30 years. The curve for the early investors sweeps sharply upwards, creating a massive void. Compounding turns modest early contributions into a multiplier that a late-start salary struggles to match. Missing these early years forces the individual to rely entirely on physical labor to fund the future, because the math of lost time cannot be reversed. The biggest myth about wealth is the belief that getting rich requires a massive corporate salary. Two people can earn the exact same high salary, but the definitive mistake is using that money to purchase items that increase your monthly obligations. Wealthy households direct capital differently. As this graphic shows, expenses consume your income, but assets create it. Assets are independent vehicles, like market investments, growing private businesses, and cash-producing systems that generate their own recurring revenue. Escaping the trap requires exact, intentional steps. You must control lifestyle creep and eliminate future-stealing debt, spending with intense discipline to maximize the gap between what you earn and what you keep. This requires prioritizing the acquisition of productive assets over the immediate comfort of a higher standard of living. Financial freedom begins when you build independent systems that maintain your lifestyle even when you step away from the work.